What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Politics with Steve. All right, y'all. So before we get started, I want to take a second, ask everybody to subscribe to my YouTube page and sign up for my email list. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things politics with Steve. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so we have undeniable evidence Trump and his administration is completely owned by Russia. This is the reason that none of Trump's decisions around the Russia and Ukraine war make sense to anybody. So let's talk about the breaking news and what we found out last night. And this is just embarrassing for the United States. I was actually posting about this real time on Threads as the story was dropping. So if y'all don't follow me on Threads, definitely do that. Let me actually show that. So this is what I posted. MAGA is always shouting treason. We got the US presidential envoy, Steve Witkoff, was literally caught on audio coaching Russia how to pressure Trump on a Russian peace deal. Now, I want to quickly show y'all transcripts from this call. All right, so again, it's always been a weird pipeline between what Trump want and what the Russians want. Like, and understanding this call happened, it makes everything make perfect sense. Like, the U.S. presidential envoy, Steve Witkoff, is literally telling Russian advisors how to sucker Trump. Like, he's telling them to congratulate President Trump, give him praise on his accomplishments with his peace deal in Gaza. We even see that he orchestrated the phone call that sabotaged Trump's meeting with Zelensky when Zelensky was asking about tomahawks. Now, let's break down what this is really about. Last week, we learned that Trump had a new peace plan that his administration came up with Russian officials. And he took that peace plan and gave the Ukrainians until Thanksgiving to sign it. And I mean, this new peace deal was egregiously lopsided in favor of Russia. It literally shocked everybody, including our allies over in Europe. The peace deal would have forced Ukraine to give up chunks of the Donbass that Russia hasn't even won on a battlefield. Like, this is territory that Ukraine still controls. On top of that, the Ukrainian army had to shrink its military. Ukraine would be forced to make Russia an official language. Ukraine would have had to denounce NATO membership, and Russia wouldn't give up anything equivalent. Like, how does that make sense? Russia is the one doing the invading. This plan had no concessions for Russia. They should have to shrink their military. And why is Russia dictating anything about what happens with the Ukrainian military? Basically, it was forcing Ukraine to surrender to Russia. Now, over the weekend, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had a call with senators in which he told them it was a Russian document. Like, Rubio said, I don't know nothing about it. Then he said it wasn't an American plan. You can clearly see that this was translated from Russian to English. Axios broke this story, and allegedly Russia leaked the plan to them to make it sound like it was just American policy. Like, this is just the policy. And reports are Trump ain't even know about the plan until after it was first reported. And honestly, I'm not even surprised by that. Like, Trump probably, he probably don't want nothing to do with the creation of the deal. He's just going to take credit for it. And I don't think Trump care about what happens with Ukraine or what's going on in Europe. I think he just desperately want to win a Nobel Peace Prize. And if you ask him or, any of the MAGA cult members, they're going to say he ended 8 or 9 wars. I forgot how many it is now. But, that's all he cares about. But again, Trump gave them to Thanksgiving to sign this. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a guy that I don't ever agree with, a guy that I don't, really like. But I was kind of confused when I heard about this peace deal because Marco Rubio is the only one that doesn't strike me as a Russian asset. So then we find out that this terrible deal only came about because Russian agent Steve Witkoff out here acting like he's Secretary of State. I mean, This guy once went to Russia without an American translator. Something that is just unimaginable. While you're doing these negotiations, you rely on a Putin translator? Then somehow Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, got involved. Yeah, the Jared Kushner that got $2 billion from the Saudi Crown Prince, MBS, right after Trump's first term in office to his sovereign wealth fund that he had no experience managing. He also claimed that he didn't even want to get back into politics after Trump's first term. So we end up with, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, and Steve Witkoff's Trump's long-term real estate buddy representing the United States negotiating a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. And now we hear yesterday that the US and Ukraine reached an agreement on the core terms of a peace deal. Personally, I think that's useless. What good is it if the US and Ukraine agree on one peace deal and Russia and Russia and the US agrees on another peace deal that has completely separate terms in it? Like, it's not going to happen. But as expected, we hear that the Russians are expected to reject this new peace deal. And Trump is obviously not concerned that there's an audio tape out of his special presidential envoy coaching Russian officials on how to play him, because next Monday, he's sending Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Moscow to negotiate with the Russians. Like, this guy is on audio committing treason. When I hear about this stuff, I can't help but to think about those Epstein emails, and where Jeffrey Epstein literally said he consulted with Russian officials, including a foreign minister, on how to deal with Donald Trump. Trump is compromised, and it's becoming evidently more clear every single day. The people that still denying this is going to look so bad in the end.